of their commitment to a life of principle, for which they have been willing to give anything. So the whole world, I believe, is indebted to what they have done. And sadly, for my profession, which is the law, I have to say, it is unprecedented. I don't think you'll find in history a time when it's been judges and lawyers with their bodies on the streets who have led the fight for freedom.
Mr. Clark, I understand you spoke to the Chief Justice this morning by phone.
Yes.
What did you tell him, sir?
Well, I listened first. It was wonderful to hear his voice and his clarity. He knows exactly what he believes, and he can express it precisely. And there's not a quiver or a waver in his voice or in his commitment. And I wanted to tell him more than anything else of our deep respect and appreciation for what he's done, and our firm commitment to help in any way we possibly can to help him achieve his purpose, and the people of Pakistan finally come out from under most of their history since Pakistan came into being of military tyranny.
Thank you, sir. Senator Grewal, you have some views of the situation. Please share with us.
I share the same view as General Clark, and that is that this is very unique in...
For my Pakistani audience, I may just clarify, when you say General Clark, you mean Attorney General Clark.
Well, but the terminology...
Not general,
yes.
Please, Mike.
Yes. Well, you know, just for Pakistani audience, I just want to make sure that there is no confusion.
The terminology, well, I could say former General Clark, but generally the terminology was used in our government, that when you're Attorney General, you address them as General,
correct.
not Attorney General.
No, that's fine.
But I think the confusion is well taken, because we are dealing with generals who have lost their head and are using tyranny with their title. So let me just say that the terminology is Citizen Ramsey Clark,
yes.
Global Citizen Ramsey Clark, because he uses his influence around the world for good causes, and for that he has my undying admiration. So Ramsey, you do the Lord's work. But I want to associate myself with his comments in that regard. It is probably unique in world history to see attorneys who are used to the comfort of the courtroom, used to the comfort of their offices, and the safety of the courtroom, the safety of their offices. And of course, their clients are the one who are at the foreground or in the trenches of difficulties. And so they sit there in their comfort. And for the body to step forward as a group and put themselves on the line, their bodies being threatened. Now, this is very unique in Pakistani history and very important, because the population has been cowered down by the military force. And so absent a group to stand forward and offer leadership, there really was no hope. And so this group has stepped forward, and look at what has happened. The people have come out to the streets and backed these people. This is a miracle that's happening. This is democracy, vibrant democracy in action. I only wish we had this in the United States. And what it represents for the world is a moral awakening in Pakistan that is exemplary for the world. They are, and I don't think they appreciate it. When you're under the gun fighting this battle in the streets, you don't appreciate what a model you are for the rest of the people in the world. And that model is one that there is hope if people will assert themselves, and other people will take courage from that. So you don't know where this is, because the United States, with our present leadership, has abdicated all moral leadership. And so we now must look to places like Pakistan, where the people, where these attorneys, where these leaders like the Chief Justice step forward and offer what really counts in society, and that is respect for the law. And if there's anything, they are the ones that will bring about an independent judiciary, which is vital to the future of a Pakistani democracy. I just can't tell you how honored I am to have the opportunity to endorse their efforts. Please do more.
Thank you kindly. And you also spoke with the Chief Justice. What was your conversation with him, sir?
Well, I thought his clarity was right on. You can tell when a person has deep courage. And Ramsey was saying his voice didn't weigh. He's got a clear thought. This fellow, he's been put in jail. He's been beaten upon. All it's done is hardened his mettle, and that is leadership. And my God, if he can get back in, he'll be a better Chief Justice now that he has gone through the fire and the cauldron of difficulty, and that is going to be a benefit to the great nation of Pakistan.
Thank you, sir. And you, sir.
There's opportunities that America has been given many a times that has opened up a window of opportunity. You know, from the time of the Civil Rights Movement, the Human Rights Movement with Dr. King, Dr. Lowry, Coretta Scott King, and many others, to South Africa with Nelson Mandela. You know, it gave the United States an opportunity to do what is right, to not talk about policing the world, but leading the world. This again opens up another opportunity for us to take a step, you know, in the United States, you know, to say this is what's right, you know, to side with right-minded people, to talk about we truly believe in democracy, we truly believe in the law, and that if we have just laws, then we create an environment that individuals can feel connected, individuals can contribute to a society that will be able to provide the human and civil rights that's necessary, not only in the United States, but around the world itself. And we need to take this opportunity now to reach out. You know, how many windows will open up for us to be able to show through our example what we need to do, you know, and how we need to support those individuals that are striving to do what is right.
Okay, Abdus-samad, you also spoke with the Chief Justice. What was your conversation with him, please? For those audience who did not listen to that conversation, what would be the summary of your exchange with him?
It was similar to my colleagues. It was similar to the point of support, you know, the struggle that's taking place there. And it was just me giving support, as my colleagues have given, you know, to him to continue on in this struggle. Not to give him not to give him that support is saying we didn't support what went on in our own country, you know, to change the laws, you know, and make sure the laws, you know, are just to everyone that is here, you know, and that's the conversation. We have to support a struggle, and again, you heard the Mandela in him, you heard the King in him, you heard the Malcolm in him, you know, you heard the struggle, you know, that is there, and the unwavering struggle that this is for justice. It's not for me. You know, it's not just for the Pakistani people, it's for the world, you know, and that's what I heard.
Excellent. I just want to add as a footnote, yesterday, one of the leaders, key leaders and main lawyers for the Chief Justice was interviewed by somebody, and he self-consciously drew parallels between his march and that of Dr. King. So that, you know, it's like, it's a dialectical process of back and forth, learning and teaching. Thank you very much. And Professor Allender, your observation, sir?
Thanks. I think that the fact that we had such great difficulty being able to communicate with the Chief Justice because of the danger of our communication being either overheard or interrupted by the intelligence services of Pakistan was worthy of note. Because despite these conditions, the Chief Justice is continuing to put forward a position and an attitude that allows us to see what our real responsibilities are. Last week, the Supreme Court of the United States issued an opinion in which 4 justices said essentially that in their view, the President of the United States has the power to set up courts and prisons and to carry out executions without being able to have those issues reviewed by a court. Now, it shows that the challenge to the rule of law exists not only in Pakistan, but in fact the United States, which is the primary supporter of the Musharraf regime, also does not believe in law in a way that would allow us to have a full democracy. If the 4 members of the Supreme Court had become 5, the question is whether the lawyers of the United States would have taken to the streets the way the Pakistani lawyers have. Unfortunately, we don't have a Chief Justice that, as Pakistan does. We have a Chief Justice who's willing to support the claims of unrivaled power by Bush.